Fake, Bruce! Fake! Liar! You liar!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Woo! It's amazing what Tylenol and caffeine can do when you combine them. It is Monday Madness, folks. And when I say mad, I mean crazy kind of mad, like the Mad Hatter. That kind of mad. But actually, the Democrats are actually also not just crazy, well, of course, stupid. They are mad, mad, mad. And the tears be flowing, folks. The leftist tears are running. Democrats are literally losing their minds following the Supreme Court. Let's call it a victory, right? It smells like victory to me because of the tears that are going. Because, hey, presidents are supposed to have immunity in their official capacity. So now everyone, some of the pundits are like, well, what if he did something that wasn't official? I was thinking, yeah, like accepting bribes from China and Ukraine and shaking down business people and corporations and banks for donations. Yeah, kind of like an extortion racket. Maybe a money laundering scheme. Maybe that's not official. Well, let's just put that aside, shall we? Let's talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Oh, yeah. She's brilliant. Brilliant. I mean, I would love to have what a relationship a man could have with a woman like AOC. No, I can't. No, that doesn't work either. Can you imagine every time hi, how you guys doing? Right? Just, okay. AOC, she threw a complete hissy fit. And guess what she has promised to do? She has promised to file articles of impeachment against the 6 conservative justices when Congress comes back from their break. Number one, how many breaks does Congress get? And do they need that many breaks? And I might ask this of AOC, on what grounds are you going to impeach them? Well, they committed treason. Okay. Work with me here, Democrats. On what grounds? There are 3 dissenting votes. 3 Democrat screwheads. They're the ones who should be impeached. After all, in a democracy, the majority is always right because they're the majority, and the majority is always right, say Democrats. So we had 6 justices, including piece of shit, traitor, that's right, Chief Justice. I don't even want to say his name, John Roberts. He is a POS, and even he said, yeah, presidents in their official capacity have immunity. Or are we going to impeach Biden for screwing up Afghanistan? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Charge him with treason for Afghanistan, leaving the border open, sending billions of dollars over to Ukraine. Trying to get us into a war. What else has he done illegal? Fucking jerk-offs. But it gets better, folks. It wasn't just AOC that threw a hissy. No. The tears flowed over in the Senate as well. Because Majority Leader Upchuck puked his guts up, had a raw hamburger with cheese on it, Schumer. He has accused the Supreme Court of the United States, the lone senator, Chuck Schumer, talk about an unethical POS, has accused the Supreme Court of corrupt political influence without evidence, folks. And then he turns around and claims that this decision is going to help Trump to, quote, weaken our democracy. Now, one more time. Democracy is majority rule. On the court, we had majority rule. That's how the Supreme Court works. It's rather democratic in its institutional practices. Though not all of the judges come from, well, the same president. In fact, none of them are elected. They're appointed by the president. And right now, there is 5.5 justices who are conservative and 3.5 that aren't. And by the way, Amy Coney Barrett can suck it. She sucks. I don't like her. Yes, she voted for the presidential immunity, but she had a couple of little things in there that she didn't really like. I'm not a big fan of her. Not as much for this as I am for the fact that she has said the Declaration of Independence is not law. Oh, it was law in 1776, you little bitch. Anyways, let us continue with leftist tears, shall we? Chuck Schumer continued. This disgraceful decision by the Make America Great Again Supreme Court of the United States, he literally said, this disgraceful decision by the MAGA SCOTUS, which is comprised of 3 justices appointed by Trump himself. Well, it's because he was fucking president. Bunch of cock-knockers. Back up, John. I just love it. It's actually making me very happy to go with this, folks. He says, the Supreme Court of the United States enables the former president to weaken our democracy by breaking the law. It undermines the Supreme Court of the United States' credibility and suggests political influence trumps in all our courts today. He had to throw in Trump's name. Whoops. Now, it continues. I don't have time to go down what every single Democrat said. By the way, get your comments down below. Tell me what you think about this or any other topic, because at the second half of the show, we're going to get into your questions and comments. So, Democrat scumbag Steve Cohen from Tennessee, his response was incredibly vicious. He accused the Supreme Court of aiding and abetting treason. And then he also tried crapping on Justice Alito's wife. Right? Crazy, folks. Crazy. Here we go. It's the Republican court, Cohen seethed. It's not the United States of America's. No, actually, it's the United States of America's Supreme Court. It's the United States government in Washington, D.C., and it's their Supreme Court. Now, what if these asshats, these crybaby pansies, these Democrat sleazeballs, what if they had the majority in the court? Oh, they'd be parading. It's democracy at work. Isn't it perfect? We think it's wonderful. Now, shit-stain Cohen continues. He says, next they'll fly the flag at the Supreme Court upside down and won't call Alito's wife to do it. Shame on the 6 aiders and abettors of treason. Now, from the great state of California, another sleazeball Democrat, Ted Lieu. Ted Lieu. He considers himself a constitutional scholar. He said that the court, quote, just made shit up to protect Trump. He says the extreme justices of the court, 3 of whom were appointed by Trump, just made shit up to protect him. Nowhere in the Constitution does the word immunity appear. Well, what about the 500 fucking times Bill Clinton claimed executive immunity and privilege? The word executive privilege is not in the Constitution either. Oh, and the words executive order. Executive order is not in the Constitution either. There's a lot of shit that's not in the Constitution. So Ted Lieu continues, this is radical judicial activism by the MAGA justices. And then back to the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, another stalwart genius. He had a statement digging in, insulting the court, saying they bent the knee to the insurrectionist in chief. I love it. He accused the conservative justices, the 6 of them, of, quote, setting a dangerous precedent, and said Democrats would, quote, engage in aggressive oversight and legislative activity to bring them into compliance with the Constitution. Now, I will say this. Within the Constitution, in the section that has to do with the Supreme Court, it says they can sit at times of good behavior. Times of good behavior. Well, okay then. What is good behavior? Is Democrat mayors and assemblymen and senators and representatives and justices and district attorneys and chiefs of police and mayors and city councils that allowed America to burn, loot, and murder under BLM and Antifa back in 2020? Is that good behavior? Is letting Biden get away with all the shit he's gotten away with without even censoring the POS, much less impeaching and removing him, which would never happen in a Democrat Senate? Is that right? Wrong? It's crazy, folks. Everything is politicized. Everything is extreme. And don't think for a second that violence is not going to erupt because of this, folks. Now, let's take a look at what liberal judges do. I want to give you a taste of liberal judges. Now, I'm not talking about the judges that tried screwing Trump over, finding him guilty of no crime. But you're guilty. There's no crime here that we can tell you about, but you're guilty. 34 counts of guilty, 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 nothing. He's guilty of nothing. Literally, President Trump, we find you guilty of nothing. The sentencing will begin next month. How fucking stupid are these people? Let me show you what a liberal judge does. They look at a man. It's an illegal alien, someone who has broken the law to get into this country. And he is being charged with raping a disabled child. This judge let him out of jail with a $500 bail. That is corrupt. That is evil. Democrats are evil. They are criminal scum. Changed my mind on that. What did the Supreme Court say? Did they say Trump has immunity? No, they said presidents have immunity. Now, well, maybe we should do this. Maybe Biden, once he's not president, and Obama can stand trial for crimes that, I don't know, that some radical right-wing district attorney wants to charge them with. How about that? Would they want immunity for Biden and Obama? Exactly. Exactly, folks. Now, not only is America swinging to the side of righteousness, and I sure hope it does. That's why we all need, me, you, everyone, get involved with the election process, wake people up, talk to people, pass the message on, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also happening in Europe. I told you about Marine Le Pen in France. Vive la France! In France, her party, a conservative pro-France nationalist party, wants to throw illegals out. They want to make people integrate into France, learn the language, learn the laws, or GTFO French style. She's in charge of France. Germany, the AfD party is almost taking control. And of course, in Slovakia, their president survived an assassination attempt because he won't allow scum into his country. And in Romania, Viktor Orban. No, Hungary. Sorry, not Romania. Hungary. Viktor Orban has been fighting the globalist douchebags for years. And now guess what? Viktor Orban is now the European Union president. They've taken over, folks. They have the votes. And this Hungarian prime minister, Mr. Orban, vows to, guess what? He isn't MAGA. He is mega. MEGA. He says, make Europe great again. So he is he is the mega president. Trump is the MAGA president. I love it. Heads are spinning and then exploding on these socialist, left-wing, scumbag, communist-type, fascist douches. I have zero respect for any of them, folks. Zero. I love it. Make Europe great again. Mega. Wow. Just fucking brilliant. Now, in order to try and examine the Supreme Court decision, folks, this is all going to explode in violence. This is all going to explode in political debauchery. The assassinations are coming. The hatred, anger is going to boil over. And I want it all to happen up in D.C. Not here, not in the great state of Florida or Texas or anywhere else. I want it all to go down in D.C. Now, the scumbag POS, listen to his last name, Andrew Weissman. Remember this scumbag? He was Mr. Mueller's hatchet man, trying to get Trump on the Russian collusion. Russia. Years of investigating found zero. Zip, zilch, nada, niente. Nine. Nothing. Woo! Andrew Weissman had a meltdown, though. He called the decision terrifying. What's terrifying is the fucking southern border with thousands and thousands of Mexicans, Central Americans, South Americans, Africans, Middle Easterns, and Asians sneaking into this country every single day. That's terrifying. Anyways, this fucking idiot, Andrew Weissman, asks the question about Supreme Court granting immunity to presidents in their official capacity. In their official capacity. And he asked the question that was brought up by Biden's judge that he appointed, Florence Pan. The question is, what if a president decides that a political adversary is a threat to democracy and orders the killing of that person? Well, the Democrats have done all but assassinate Trump. They're prosecuting him on a number of idiotic, moronic, unfounded, unsupported lawsuits in an effort to break him financially and smear him. And yes, it is election interference. But that's what they're doing. So what if a president, Obama, decides that a political adversary is a threat to democracy and he orders a drone strike that kills 2 Americans? Yes, Obama did just that. Obama killed 2 Americans and claimed presidential immunity. I was just doing my duty. I ordered the killing. I didn't know they were Americans, or I did know they were Americans. It doesn't matter. In his official capacity to save democracy. It's not a fucking democracy. It's a republic. It's a republic. But they don't know that, folks. They know jack shit. It's going to get good, folks. You know what Andrew Weissman is terrified of? All the Democrats and Rhino Republicans being exposed. We need the Jizzy Maxwell list. Yes, we do. Now, it continues, folks. Clarence Thomas, a Supreme Court justice. He is a Supreme Court justice. And he had a blistering, an ass-blistering opinion on the immunity ruling that just cuts at the heart of Jack Smith, scumbag Democrat, his authority. One moment. Ouch. He says a private citizen cannot criminally prosecute anyone, let alone a former president. That didn't sound too blistering, did it? No, that doesn't sound too blistering. Sounded kind of nice to me. It sounded a little bit, like he was putting him in his place. But let's read some more. Let's read a little more. Yeah, Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas questioned Jack Smith's authority because he was a private citizen when he was tapped as a special prosecutor. Whoops. He says, I write separately to highlight another way in which this prosecution may violate our constitutional structure. Oh, by the way, Clarence Thomas is a constitutional scholar. He is an incredible conservative brain. Highly intelligent, highly critical, high IQ, doesn't put up with any shit. You may not like all of his cases. I don't care. The man's a genius. But he cuts right through the bullshit. I write separately to highlight another way in which this prosecution may violate our constitutional structures. In this case, the Attorney General purported to appoint a private citizen as special counsel to prosecute a former president on behalf of the United States. In other words, Jack Smith, private citizen, is empowered by the government to try and violate the constitutional rights and the constitutional duties of a president. Now, Justice Thomas continues, but I am not sure that any office for the special counsel has been, quote, established by law, as the Constitution requires, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2. That's known as the 222. By requiring that Congress create federal offices by law. The Constitution imposes an important check against the president. He cannot create offices at his pleasure. If there is no law establishing the office, then the special counsel occupies, then he cannot proceed with this prosecution. A private citizen cannot criminally prosecute anyone, let alone a former president. No former president has faced criminal prosecution for his acts while in office in more than 200 years since the founding of our country. And that is so despite numerous past presidents taking actions that many would argue constitute crimes. If this unprecedented prosecution is to proceed, it must be conducted by someone duly authorized to do so by the American people. The lower courts should thus answer these essential questions concerning the special counsel's appointment before proceeding. Thomas, Supreme Court Justice Thomas, also argued that pile of shit Jack Smith is not Senate confirmed. Trump's lawyers, by the way, are also using this argument in front of Judge Cannon. Now, I know that I could just dive into this law shit from Justice Thomas all day long. But he gets into some of the nuts and bolts. He just hammers them. Just fucking hammers them. And God bless him for that. Right? We've got some trouble, folks. We have some trouble. Well, let me do this. Let me get through some of this garbage. Oh, it's incredible, folks. It's absolutely incredible. Biden. Biden's camp. Biden's administration. I want to make sure I get Biden's people's response. Okay, and there's so much going on, folks. So much going on. The Biden campaign. The doddering fool campaign. They unleashed their lies. Here's a quote. Here's a quote from the Biden administration. Today's ruling doesn't change the facts. So let's be very clear about what happened on January 6th. Donald Trump snapped after he lost the 2020 election and encouraged a mob to overthrow the results of a free and fair election. Trump did not snap, and he did not encourage a mob to do anything. In fact, he was very calm and clear, and he said no being violent. And he did not try to overthrow the results of a free and fair election, and the election was not free nor fair. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fucking lies in the first sentence. Let me continue with Biden brain power. Trump is already running for president as a convicted felon for the very same reason he sat idly by while the mob violently attacked the Capitol. The felony so-called prosecution was for 34 felonious counts of no crime detailed. Once again, he didn't commit a crime because no crime was charged. He was not found guilty of any crime. There were no felonies, but somehow he's still guilty of felony nothing. Let me continue, though. The mob violently attacked the Capitol as Trump idly sat by. Sorry, Nancy Pelosi was told, get the National Guard in here. She refused, intentionally refused. And she's taking credit for that, by the way. And she was caught on camera. It was recorded, and it's all over the fucking internet. Once again, more lies. Trump, he thinks he's above the law and is willing to do anything to gain and hold on to power for himself. Really? Joe Biden is being begged by the Democrat Party to step down, to resign. He's not going to, folks. They're going to have to 25th Amendment him. Now, I did get into some of the weeds and nuts and bolts today on what the Democrat National Committee can do if they want. He does have all these delegates that voted to put him in office. He's the president, and he has the most delegates assigned to him. But guess what? Those delegates are no more required to vote for Biden at the DNC and appoint him as their candidate, as the Electoral College is required. They're claiming that Trump is going to be a dictator because he used the word bloodbath to describe the unhappiness of Americans. They're saying that he's grown more unhinged. He is drawing crowds of tens of thousands. Joe Biden, he can't draw the short straw out of one straw in the hand. He's incredible. Yep. Because Trump promised a bloodbath if he loses. The American people, according to Joe Biden's people, folks, the American people already rejected Donald Trump. Really? Really? Now, this was fascinating. Let me end my stuff here. A former attorney of Trump, and his name is Michael Van der Veen. He went on the news. He went on CNN and said, hey, this ruling from the Supreme Court on presidential immunity actually protects Joe Biden. And I agree with that statement. It protects Biden and it protects Obama. But there's one issue here that I think they're missing. Unofficial acts. Treason is not an allowable official act under the United States Constitution. No, it is not. So the treason that I think, well, Trump is going to point down and look at, right? The treason is on the Democrat side. Okay, get this, folks. This is good. I'm going to give it to you real quick, real hard, real fast. Take a wild freaking guess. And thank you, Darcy T, for sending this to me. A 17-year-old Chinese badminton player, super athlete, 17-year-old. Hey, folks, look, if you've seen people playing badminton, pickleball, or table tennis, you have got to be sharp as a tack, fast as lightning. A 17-year-old Chinese badminton player had a heart attack while playing badminton, fell down on the fucking court, did a face plant, and died suddenly. Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess as to what caused that. Could it be Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson? Woo! Let me give you some more words from the Supreme Court, and then we'll flip on over to you guys. In a 6-3 decision, the court ruled on the topic of presidential immunity, quote, the court holds that a former president has absolute immunity for his core constitutional powers. Isn't that special? These fucking losers, they're not going to like it, folks. And you and I have a job to do. That is stand up and face our enemies and let them have it with good arguments and very firm words. Let's go to the inner circle now. Ooh-ha. I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you. What do you guys want to talk about? Mr. Man, Jolene, what is the topic that's on everyone's mind? And Chin Music, I'm glad you're here, man. You've got to have some kind of immunity shirt that you can create to make more friends and influence more people. Good stuff. Okay, thank you, Jolene. Chin Music says, Rob Reiner lost his shit again on X. And he did. Rob Reiner, a.k.a. Meathead. That's right. His nickname was Meathead on Archie Bunker's show from the 1970s called All in the Family. Rob Reiner is an incredible left-wing socialist anti-American sack of poop with an exclamation point on poop. So Chin says, I'm assuming the commie shitbags didn't get what they wanted. That is correct. I believe actually Rob Reiner's hissy fit had everything to do not with the Supreme Court decision, but with the debate. Because Biden is not a master debater. No, he's not. He's a master sniffer. But he's not a master debater, so he lost. And Rob Reiner's upset. He doesn't know what to do about it, folks. They don't have a plan. They don't have a plan. Good. Too bad. I can't wait, folks. I can't wait. Shit. Let's keep going. Get in your questions now, folks. This is your chance. You got something to say? I want to hear it. We need to get this out. I need everyone who watches this, whether it's live or recorded, that internet address up there, share it. This is incredible, folks. A great decision by the Supreme Court. The left is losing their minds, from elected officials to lawyers to bureaucrats to the TV and media, to the Hollywood elite, and it's going all the way down to the street. They are going to want to burn, and burn over this one. Woo! Okay, Jolene, who shall we see and talk to next? Badass Diving Frog says, ACB took her 4 kids to Epstein Island. Oliver. Who is ACB? Help me out here, man.
Amy Comey Barrett.
What?
I didn't make the comment.
Okay, you didn't know. All right, Badass Diving Frog. He says Amy Comey Barrett took her 4 kids to Epstein Island, allegedly. I would like a link on that. A link on that, please. I would find that an absolutely despicable move, considering that Amy Coney Barrett's children, many of them, were not even born after the fact. That fact being that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted as a, well, what was he convicted of? Oh, yeah, statutory rape. right? A child, he's a registered sex offender. Why would you take your kids to the island of a registered sex offender? Inquiring minds want to know. I don't think it's too far out of line to ask that question, but considering that's it's such a powerful, crazy thing to say, I'm going to need a link that can be copied and pasted and sent to me. I'd like to see that. I'm not real happy with the broad. I'm not. So much so that I'm going to call her a broad. I don't like a lot of things she has to say. We can all hope and pray that President Trump puts a few more good, solid, real, conservative justices on the Supreme Court. And hopefully Clarence Thomas continues to eat his vitamins and can hang on and wait for Trump before he resigns. In fact, I would like Justice Thomas to name his replacement before he goes. I would like that. Same with Alito. In fact, I would hope that there's some way that the president, Mr. Trump, can inquire of them for referrals, because Justice Kavanaugh is weak. Amy Coney Barrett is unreliable. And of course, Chief Justice John Roberts is a fucking traitor. He's a coward and a sellout. And I've got no problem saying that. I will call people out, folks. I will do it. I will not allow people to go to skate on by without being criticized when they've earned it. Earned it. Amy Coney Barrett, I need that. Give me an article. Otherwise, I've got to say alleged, because that's pretty harsh. Okay, Jolene, who wants to step up in next? And it's chin music again. Now, once again, everyone, questions, comments, thoughts, predictions on what's coming later this week. When is Antifa going to be turned loose? When is BLM going to be turned loose? Where are they going to be turned loose? I saw a picture of the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. with giant fences around it. Is anyone there rioting? Is anyone there throwing things, throwing a fit, screaming, yelling, setting stuff on fire? Are there a bunch of Antifa? Are there a bunch of ham-ass Palestinians there? I want to know. Anyways, Chin Music steps back into the ring, and he says, hey, Schumer says the court is supposed to be impartial. Allow me to explain. That means they rule with the left every single time. Exactly. Impartial means agreeing with Schumer, or agreeing with Pelosi, or agreeing with Hillary, or agreeing with Obama, or agreeing with Biden. That's what impartial means. And we have a republic, folks. The republic we have is why there's a Supreme Court that's independent of the legislature. And the reason I bring that up, this independence, these equal but separate powers. It's described and laid out in the Constitution. It's argued in the Federalist Papers, the importance of the distinct separation of powers. So when jackass congressman, evil Democrat, said, when we get back into session, we're gonna review. You don't have any review over the Supreme Court. There is no review of the Supreme Court. That gives them the impartiality that they need. Chief Justice Roberts pretended to be a conservative, got on the Supreme Court, decided that Obamacare is a tax. The Obamacare penalty is a tax for not doing what that sack of shit required us to do, supposedly. And of course, that supposed thing we're supposed to do was in a multiple thousand-page document that no one was allowed to read until they voted it in. That is fucking insanity. To say, you're not allowed to read this law until you vote and pass it. Fuck you, Pelosi. Sit and spin on that one. Okay, now, let me continue. Yeah, the legislature has no control. Now, can justices of the Supreme Court be impeached? And who has that impeaching authority? It says they may serve at times of good behavior, but who has the authority to impeach? And impeaching is one thing, and then the trial is another. So let's assume a couple of things here. Let's assume the Supreme Court can impeach their own members. I think that that is probably the most likely way that they know when one of them is not, shall we say, behaving properly. In other words, they've done something very unethical, like, I don't know, leak a Supreme Court decision before it was released for the public, right? Ketanji Jackson Brown, you're out. Poof. Sotomayor, poof, you're out. Kagan, poof, you three pieces of shit, you're out. Poof, is how that should have been. Okay, well, let's just say the Supreme Court can't police itself. So is the Congress going to do the impeaching? That's an interesting one. Congress can throw their own congressional members out. Yes, they can. They can vote to throw them out. That's why I look at the Supreme Court and say it can take care of itself. It's self-policing. The president, on the other hand, only has himself to police himself. But that authority was granted to Congress to take care of. Impeach in the House, the Senate tries. It's a two-step process. In any event, so if Congress were to want to impeach somebody, can they ask a Supreme Court justice to come there and take a bunch of political arrows and knives and grenades? Or can the justice say, I'll take the fifth? You see, the Democrats don't have the House, and they only have the Senate. So a request to impeach them would not go very far. Some crazy shit, Chin. And yes, impartial means being an anti-American Democrat. That's how that shit works. All righty. I tell you. Chin Music has a shirt. It's a picture of Biden with that stupid expression. Right? And it says, I'm not a biologist, but I know an asshole when I see one. Yeah, that's some good stuff, man. I love it. Love it. Okay, Jolene, who is up next? And then Uman says, hey, with respect to Marine Le Pen, who is probably going to take all the executive authority in the French parliamentary system into the nationalist anti-scumbag direction. Anyways, here's a quote apparently from Marine Le Pen. Those connected to Islamist ideology must be stripped of their nationality and expelled. The French who adopt the ideology of the enemy must be punished. Radical mosques will be shut down, and the Muslim Brotherhood will be dissolved. She's going right at the heart of the problem in Europe. The Muslim Brotherhood, the terrorist organizations, they know exactly what they're doing. They're importing more and more of their own people. Who would authorize such a thing? What country in their right fucking mind, Biden, Macron, Turd Hole, European Union, hello, would invite in a group of people who are uneducated, unskilled, unintelligent, radicalized with religion, murderous people who want to literally breed as many people as they can so they can take over the country as the majority population, and then bring in their own version of law, which allows them to, burn with acid, flay with a whip, beat with a stick, stone to death, or set on fire while alive any women that they feel have violated the precious Quran. That's a sick fucking religion right there, folks. Sick religion. But, you know, the LGBTQ crowd, they think it's fucking cute. Yay, queers for Palestine. They'll throw you right off the fucking building. And they've actually said that that's going to happen. Right? The gender Taliban will meet the real Taliban. And by the way, I had fun with that. J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, has to call these trans activists, right? She calls them the gender Taliban because all they do is attack and terrorize people who don't agree with their fruitcake philosophy. So I welcome her to the party, and I'm not a huge, Rowling fan. I couldn't give a shit, but right, she's fighting against the same people we're fighting against. Crazy stuff. Anyways, man, thank you very much for that beautiful, great Marine Le Pen quote. Take away their citizenship, strip it, and send them back where they came from. And if you are a Frenchman, a natural-born Frenchman or French woman, if you support radical Islam, you will be punished. Let me tell you something about French law, if I may. In English common law, England, Canada, the United States of America, Australia, New Zealand, right? In common law, Anglo common law, the person who is accused of a crime enjoys the benefit of being innocent until proven guilty. That said, I still find it kind of interesting, right, that they can hold you in jail. Now, well, that's what bail is about. Oh, yeah, bail. The guarantee that you will come back and you will face the court. In France, it's a little different. In the nation of France, vive la France, you are guilty until proven innocent. If the magistrate, the prosecutor, decides to say you're guilty of a crime, you've got to prove your innocence. So if the government of France starts prosecuting French citizens for supporting the Quran, supporting radical Islam, supporting all this shit, hey, guess what? You are guilty until you prove yourself innocent. Not a nice way to find yourself. Not a nice way and nice place to find yourself in. Now, the interesting thing is, the French don't abuse it. Can you imagine Washington, D.C., scumbag fucking Democrats accusing all of us of crimes and saying you're guilty, prove yourself innocent? It would be that much fucking harder. It really would, folks. They won't blame themselves. No. They won't take responsibility for themselves. They'll just keep saying Trump is evil. Supreme Court, Trump has them in his pocket somehow. Well, I thought it was pretty funny that CNN weighed in on Biden losing. You know what they said? The Biden family blamed Joe's failure on his makeup. I can't not tell you about this one. Yeah, his makeup. They said it, quote, makes him look pale and pallid. Makeup made him look pale and pallid. So maybe they should have made Joe Biden orange? They should have said, put some more of that orange makeup on him. Well, I guess pale and pallid is better than near dead, which is what Joe Biden's complexion is these days. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. And it's just going to get better. It's just going to get better. And I bet a ton of shit has happened since this show just started. More quotes have come out. You see, the Democrats have been in there all day long, arguing, fighting, making accusations, coming up with plans, an attack strategy. And now that the day is over, it's 5:21 Eastern Standard Time, you bet they're running to the nearest fucking camera trying to get some FaceTime so they can be on the evening news. All right, Jolene, let's do it. Let's do some shotgun blasts here because we're running out of time. We got a lot of thoughts. Diving Frog says, John, those leftists are at it again. According to them, Donald Trump is responsible for the plague, the dark ages, and having birds shit on your windshield after going through the car wash. Yeah, he's responsible for everything. Next thing you're going to know, Trump is responsible for the Great Flood. Trump is responsible for the dinosaurs disappearing. Yeah, it's coming. I'm telling you, they're that nuts. They're that stupid. The left are ruled, governed, influenced. I don't know how, by idiocracy, but here we are. All right, thank you, Badass Diving Frog. And then Uman says, for the record, I cannot find any stories linking Amy Coney Barrett to Epstein Island. We all need to be careful about repeating wild accusations without doing the appropriate research and verification. And that's why I backed off. Once again, I want to be careful. When I come here with my topics, my stories, every now and then I'll get one wrong, or the story itself was wrong, and I'll try and make those corrections. And I'll say, people, please fact check me. But if something like that comes up, I'll say alleged, right? But yeah, let's continue to be careful, have fun. But that's a great example of people who don't like Amy Coney Barrett. I don't like her. Not a big fan. I am not going to have her over for Thanksgiving. But as much as I dislike her, she is still on the conservative side of the bench. And I'm not going to make up stuff about her. But other people are. In fact, that could have been a Democrat lie handed over to pissed off Republicans who don't like her to spread it amongst our own people. Doesn't matter. We're all good. Lesson learned. Let's move on. Jolene, Village Idiot, weighs in and says, did I hear that Dick Cheney had another hunting trip planned? Oh, I'm sure. And if you remember, Dick Cheney shot, who the fuck did he shoot in the face? Was it Mitch McConnell? Who was it? I can't remember who he shot. He shot someone in the face going bird hunting with a shotgun. Yeah, I would not go hunting with Dick Cheney. And no, not safe. Thank you, Village Idiot. Look out. Maybe you ought to take Liz Piggy Cheney on a hunting trip. Except the dogs getting turned loose would probably attack her. All right, Jolene, what do we have next? Who is it in Uman again? He says, to protest the election results in France, French feminists. Thank you, Jolene. Not U.S. type feminists, but French feminists stage a protest where they are mopping the floors outside of Parliament while topless. Are these those crazy wackadoo feminists that run around flashing presidents and getting in their face, man? Is that the same kind? I think so. Yeah, they're fucking whacked out. But yeah, they flash their boobs all the time. Well, tell you what, you just got some attention. We're now going to look at your boobs and laugh. So mopping the floors outside of Parliament. Hey, public service. Nice move, ladies. Way to go. Way to go. You're not upsetting anybody. Hopefully they do a good job, though, and mop that floor really well, and then come back in with some mop and glow and maybe a buffer. Do a good job. Do a good job. When you get done over there, you can come over and clean my bathrooms, too. And I do not want these people to make me a sandwich. No, no, no. I don't trust any of these wacko broads to make a sandwich. They also like putting body paint on themselves with words and then stripping them tops off and accosting politicians over there. They're not like U.S. feminists who just, like the Trigomorph or whatever that fat pig's name was. And I love that Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida, Republican, basically said most of these, and he said most, or something along that line, not all, but most of the pro-abortion feminists are unsavory, overweight types And when asked if it was offensive, he says, be offended. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. I got some more, folks. Here's a trend I want to see more of. And I am not encouraging illegal behavior. I'm not glamorizing it, but it sure is funny. Once again, Florida man has made headlines. That's right. Florida man shot down a Walmart delivery drone. Does that sound like a crime to you? Was the drone flying over his property too low? Was the drone spying on him? In fact, let me ask this question. Will Walmart drones and other private drones, if their camera sees or spots a suspected criminal, are they going to turn them in to the police? Now, what is a suspected crime? Being a Republican, not being gay, not molesting children, being against the border being open, maybe having a Trump sign in your yard. Now, what I have to say is it is illegal for private citizens to fly drones around other people's houses. Why is it that Walmart can? Because it's a delivery drone? I think that they should be forced to fly it over and down streets the way everyone else does. I have a big problem with this drone delivery shit. I really do. I don't like it. I think it is a slippery slope type item. So anyways, the Florida man was arrested because he shot down their delivery drone. And I have zero sympathy for Walmart because you know what they've shot down? Every mom and pop little store in the neighborhoods that they build their giant mega stores in, which have predatory pricing practices where they undercut everyone and they drive little businesses, little grocery stores, little delis, little grocery stores get driven out of business. Little boutique shops can't compete with the Chinese shit that Walmart sells. So I have zero sympathy for them. I really do. Fuck them. I'm no fan of Walmart, folks. I'm no fan of Target. I'm no fan of Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay, now I'm going to make good on my inquisitory remark on what has happened since we've started the show out in the world. I'm going to scan a couple of news items. Let's see. Yeah, terrifying, absolutely terrifying. That Trump guy's terrifying. Oh, a jury has ruled in favor. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee is ordered to pay almost $700,000 to an employee who was fired for refusing to take the Jim Jones juice. Oh, great. Fuck you, Blue Shield, Blue Cross. Nice. Kamala Harris, who, by the way, is still very, 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 very mad that she's not being considered. Not being considered to replace Biden. She is now lying about Trump, got fact-checked by the community notes. Even Elon Musk called out her lies, and he said this, quote, lying on this platform doesn't work anymore. That is just fucking brilliant. A big F you middle finger to the bitch. A scumbag piece of shit Zoomer. That's a Gen Z punk. He is a Biden super fan, and he says that the military offing Trump and Supreme Court justice is good. He says, take them all out. Isn't that a threat to the Supreme Court justices? Isn't that encouraging violence? Why is that free speech allowed? Quote, take all of them out. That just popped up, folks. It just popped up. This little piece of shit. I love it. Bring it on, little bitches. Try me. Fucking try me, folks. Even the police I meet, they're like, dude, I'm not even going to shoot you because you'll just make you mad and you'll kill me. I mean, it's just, and that, of course, is done in a good humor, sense of humor way, right? And this whole SEAL Team 6, what if the president wanted SEAL Team 6 to take out his political adversary? Well, Biden has done as much as he can. to take out his political adversary. Same with his attorney general, his Department of Justice, his prosecutorial scumbags, his allies at the state level in, let's see, New York City, and Fulton County, Atlanta, Georgia, and many other places besides. And this Jack Smith sack of shit actually tried, he violated the rules and ethics by trying to try Trump down in Florida for something that was supposedly done up in New York. Just out, they're out of control, folks. And I can't wait. I cannot wait for more. I am enjoying the ever-loving shit out of this. Don't worry. I've got all of my self-defense tools. I'm down in the bunker. I've got my Spam and my tuna fish. I've got a couple of bottles of scotch just lined up. I've got my rice. I got my cans of pork and beans. Bring it on, bitches. Bring it on. And I'm going to close out the show with this, folks. Remember Klaus Schwab, head of the World Economic Forum, who has stepped down? Now I know why he stepped down. He said, eat the bugs. He wants us to eat bugs. They're burning down chicken farms, closing hog farms, shutting down meat processing plants. They're buying up farmland and not planting. They're putting GMO crops out there, then they're spraying food with toxic preservatives and then selling it to us in the stores. They're making fake lab-grown meat, and they want to take all of your money, property, clothes, travel, and rights and say you'll own nothing and be happy as part of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset, which is not a conspiracy theory. It's a fucking fact, and several books by Klaus Schwab with that in the title have been written. That sack of shit, Klaus Schwab, is now being accused of sexual harassment by one of his staffers. That's right. No surprise here. Typical a-hole elitist, socialist, and folks, he's also a likely candidate for being on Jizzy Maxwell's Little Black Book of Clients. Little Black Book of Clients. I've had it. I fucking had it with these people. Everyone remember Donna Brazil? She looks like Jabba the Brazil. She looks like she could go to a restaurant, sit down, look at the menu, and go, yes, I'll take it. Right? When she goes to a smorgasbord, they go out of business. She actually said this, quote, how the fuck are you going to put all these white people ahead of Kamala? Referring, folks, to Biden possibly being removed or stepping down. Jabba Brazil plays the race card, warning Democrats about replacing Biden, as if Kamala is qualified any more than Feeble Joe. And nobody cares. Fine, put Kamala in there. You're right, Jabba Brazil. I love it. Kamala's the one. Everybody loves Kamala. No. Nope. Nope, nope, and nope, 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 nope. Oh, by the way, Tucker Carlson reported that Obama, that's right, Barack Hussein Barry Sator Obama is telling people Biden can't win and that Obama is in favor of the open convention. That's right, the Democratic National Convention to be held in Chicago, right? They need to have an open convention. I guess they're going to 25th Amendment the president before replacing him, right? Funny. It's funny how after he doesn't have a teleprompter, after he doesn't have all the notes, after being forced to be there for 90 minutes, the Democrats finally figured out that Biden is a complete and utter dementia-ridden imbecile. And he's not fit. He's not fit to run for president. He's not fit for president now. Funny how they finally figured it out, huh? They're that fucking stupid, folks. They're that stupid. They're that stupid. And by the way, and I will end it on this, I can't help it. There's so much good shit going on. Currently, I don't have a headache. False flags have begun. We've got violence in Germany, violence in France, violence in Ireland, violence in England. Violence is coming to America, and government violence is happening also. Down in Bolivia, remember hearing about the coup d'etat, the military taking over the government in Bolivia? Well, it would appear that the very controversial Bolivian president, who is a smelly, stinking socialist, he is now being accused of staging a fake coup. A fake coup. Why? To get the sympathy of Bolivians and the world to increase his popularity. That explains how, folks, the coup d'etat succeeded. The military took over the presidential palace. They won. And then they abandoned their position and allowed themselves to be arrested. And so the mystery is solved. Absolutely solved. The mystery of how the hell they do that kind of crap. Wow. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. Make sure you have some scotch. Out. Semper Fi. God bless America.